Welcome! In this series of videos, we will cover the subject of using AI to do, enhance, or complete PowerBasic coding. Today we will attempt to use Claude AI to recreate a PowerBasic function handling dates, and also impose a coding style. In the previous video, we used the Claude AI system to generate a PowerBasic function. This specific function was to create a function in the PowerBasic language which accepts a single date parameter in the format of day, month, year. We also specified that the function should use the PowerTime class to add 30 days to the input date. And if the calculated date is not a Monday, it should advance the date to the next Monday and make that the return value of the function. Claude AI did quite well in creating the function. However, it did make two fundamental mistakes. It picked a method for the class that does not exist. It specified the setDate method, which does not exist, rather than the newDate method, which does exist. And it also miscalculated the ordinal numbers of the days of the week. It returned Sunday as a 1 from the day of the week method rather than Sunday equals 0. We use Claude AI to correct this mistake. However, the question is, will Claude AI remember this? If we attempt to recreate the function, will we get the function as it generated originally, or will we get it generated with the corrections applied? So let's paste in the prompt we used in the last video into the Claude AI box and see what comes out. So this is the exact prompt we used in the last video. So if we ask it to generate, and we'll see what comes up. Well, it is generating what looks like the same piece of code we had the last time round. Now it has the input date as the parameter to the function, and it's got a method of setDate from string, which I'm not familiar with. So let's just check with the PowerBasic help to see whether that method exists. And no, that particular method does not exist in this version of PowerBasic. So it has made a slightly different error up here. And if we look at the days of the week, it's got the original piece of code in to say Sunday equals 1 rather than Sunday equals 0. So like many large language models, it has not remembered the correction we have made. These large language models, once trained, tend not to learn as they go. And in order to impose these changes, we would have to get the Claude system to be retrained. So we will go in and we'll make improvements to the Claude AI code to turn it back into the code we had previously. So we're changing the defaults for the dates, and it has now rolled that through the rest of the application. So it's now changed to day of week does not equal 1. And days to add is 8 minus day a week, which is now correct. We'll now replace this section with the code we had in our original program. Right, putting this section in, Claude AI has been quite good in that we have actually used variables which were not declared before, and Claude AI has gone ahead to create those variables at the top of the function, where the declarations usually are. So we now have a piece of code in here that matches what we had in the last video. So what I want to do now is to impose some coding standards on what comes out of Claude AI. So let's draft up a prompt that can be used to change the way it actually does codes? Well, first of all, we will highlight the name of the function. I'm going to paste in here 3 instructions. We want to prefix all long variables with lng. We also want to prefix all string variables with str and prefix all function names with fun. So there we have the application now taking our coding standards. The function name is prefixed with fun, the strings with str, the long variables with lng, and it has cascaded those changes through the rest of the code. So let's see if we paste this into our code to see whether the application will work correctly. As the Claude AI system has effectively renamed the name of the function, it's now got 30 as a word rather than a number, we will copy the name of the new function and paste that into the wrapper I have at the beginning in the PB main function. So if we try compiling now, it has given us power time, but it should be I power time. So that's one mistake it's made. And what else? Now it's complaining about get date string, so I think it's possibly used the wrong method. Now it's picked a method in the PowerTime class that doesn't exist. So we'll change that just to date string. And we will run once more. And that is now working perfectly. The original date of the 10th of the 8th. And the date coming out of the function is the 15th of the 9th. So there is our inputted date of the 10th of August. And our output date, which is a Monday, is the 15th of September. So there are 2 things that are quite obvious within this testing today. We have prompted Claude AI using exactly the same string of characters as the prompt. It has generated a subtly different function. And it has additionally made errors in the methods of the iPowerTime class. And it has learned nothing from the corrections made the last time round. However, we have managed to prove that if we add 3 lines to our prompt, we can impose a coding standard on the application. So if you have a particular coding standard, you could get Claude AI to output in that standard. So although Claude AI can be used to generate the skeleton of your applications or of your functions, you'll need to test all of them thoroughly, as it may well attempt to use methods or functions that do not exist in the PowerBasic language. Hopefully you'll find this useful in your own applications, but that's it for today. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for watching today's video. Please feel free to click on the link in the description below to discover more videos.